Anyway, thank you so much for coming, and I want to give a very brief introduction. When I think of every tour I've taken of various parts of Pueblo, there is always a mention of the flood and its effect on the area that I'm in. I had a studio for 5 years in a building on the edge of the river, second floor. I wrote a series that took place beginning right after the flood. A harness and saddle maker who worked with Gallup and Frazier, who were the original saddle makers here in Pueblo, moved into the building I was in just after the flood. I lived several blocks from Frazier's home. I now have a studio on Union Avenue. I am transfixed by the flood and what it means to Pueblo, as are the women in this group. Here's our take on it. And when we do these performances, we write a prompt in order to respond to it. And here is our, I should say, our heading or our title. I walk between rail cars parked on tracks and the operating lines at the depot. Not a single run of train heads out of the station north or east. I hear a rumble and see a roar of water coming at me. I scramble to the top of a train car. And presenting for us tonight is myself, Kyle Laws.
And Beth Bricker Davis.
Karen Wallace.
Kate Booth.
Yes, and we're the main group of Line Circle Women Poets in Performance. Number 1.
Grounded, strong on the bank of the Arkansas River.
Defiant in my decision to leave.
Summer monsoons came early, unceasing.
Never has it been this quiet.
Limbs and leaves blow with wind and rain.
I stride between parked rail cars.
The river, the sky, planks placed over mud holes.
Never so deserted.
Water rises by feet, not inches.
Nothing in hand, no mug of hot tea or tear-stained last letter.
All the world a shining mirror of gray.
Everyone has left the station.
Eating away the bank that holds roots and rocks.
Frigid water rushes towards me between steel rails.
Union Station, silent, no arrivals or departures.
And I'm walking in a graveyard.
Leaning, swaying as the water roars.
I change my mind, knocked off balance.
Suitcases abandoned, tickets float in the gutters.
Not a single headstone anywhere.
Over into the muddy torrent.
Atop empty train cars, standing in waist-deep, charging water.
A curtain of rain slicks the rails.
The river comes in 1 story high.
Trees travel roots first, bobbing along with so many others.
Long arms to the gray sky, fists clenched.
My boots soaked through as I plod amid the passenger trains.
All the rafters gone.
Dead deer and cows join the parade.
Church bells peal in the distance.
The soggy ground rumbles underfoot.
All the plaster and laugh.
Crash into a train car close to a stone station.
Announcing movement, even while train cars stand silent.
A wall of river thunders toward me.
What's heading toward me is energy.
Mud gathers and packs into limbs and metal. Full stop.
And the lone carcass of a cow floats to its watery grave.
This is my epitaph.
unleashed, unwrapped, bare bone. Number 2.
Standing in the rail yard admiring the colorful cars.
She said Union Station was closed.
Walking train rails by the depot.
Legs sway as I climb.
Maybe La Fonda and Santa Fe tomorrow.
She wanted the last train to Chicago.
Water rushes towards me.
In a gust I've never felt before.
What is that sound? A roar from the west.
She climbed the passenger car ladder.
Knocks me to my knees.
Legs loose from my hips.
Holy crap! A wall of water!
Imminent death raged before her.
Gasping for air, I am reaching blindly.
Unmoored in a rush downriver.
Run! Scramble up the iron ladder to the roof of a train.
The magnificent, terrifying river slammed the rail cars.
Latching on to the slick train.
Where the crows call.
A huge cottonwood tree crashes.
Tumbling and twisting like a toy.
Heaving myself atop.
Not a sound except the wind.
Can't hold on. Tumble from the roof into the rush of water.
Too late for blame and regret.
Forced down hard again by the powerful torrent.
Circling buildings in a game of tag.
So much debris, hard to swim.
Mom, Dad, my buddy Bingo.
Face pressed against steel.
Where no one is touched.
A drowned deer goes past.
Daylight stars spin topsy-turvy.
Screaming for my mother.
Jostled, nothing to grab.
Cold, soaked to the skin, underwater, choked on mud.
Someone asked when she was last seen.
Listening to the cries of drowning men.
Other train cars drift by. 3. In a race downriver.
There were ghost trains, heavy steel cars.
Farmers and ranchers know flood season.
Okay, boys, that's it. The water's gone and the mud is knee-deep.
Where it meets the fountain.
Silent, silhouetted against the depot.
Fields saturated, crops drowned.
Pull on your rubber boots and roll up your sleeves.
To the hulk of the building where cattle are cut.
A lone explorer, I steady my body.
Cattle seek high ground.
Grab a shovel and a wheelbarrow. Let's get moving.
To the hunks that can be carried.
On the steel rails between cars.
No hills left to climb.
This mud and debris is not going to carry itself off.
As if delivered to a grocery store.
Placing one foot after the other.
City folks go about business.
Hey kid, what are you doing down here? I can't find my dog.
I'm straddling the top of the train car.
Fighting a wave of panic.
The river rose like a wall.
Oh my God, what's this?
Fingers gripping edges and hope.
When frigid water rushes towards me.
All in its path gathered without mercy.
Don't overthink it, man. Just throw it in the wheelbarrow.
Not to be tossed into the debris below.
Pushing my hands from their hold on cold steel.
A turquoise awning slathered in mud.
Keep scraping till we can open doors and see streetcar tracks.
How do you hang onto joints so slick?
Trying to knock my life off balance.
A tragedy of destruction and death.
Somewhere downstream is my saddle. A double woven Navajo blanket and an old wooden horse.
Not to be pummeled into meat.
While detached parts of the city float past my wide eyes.
Our lives, now no more than a bucket of water.
This is Pueblo. Regroup and carry on.
Thank you.